Cool backdrop, Anne.
Oh yeah, it just comes with the computer. So my computer, the camera's broken, so background it today. I've got a computer with a good camera and I've got a computer with good audio, but not both.
I'm using an external camera and it has pretty good quality and pretty good audio. So you might look into just buying just an exterior USB plug-in.
What's it called?
It's a Logitech
Logitech. Okay, yeah.
and it's like HD 1080p high def.
I could definitely do that. I just got a PPP loan, so I'm ready for gadgets.
Yeah, I think it was only like 40 bucks. Like starting on time today. So we're gonna start on time. Change things up for once. Good turnout for a holiday. So thanks for stopping by and checking in. Anybody have any questions or anything they want to share before we kind of dive into some stuff? Anybody want to share comments, questions? Hunt, did you survive your tile breaking experience?
Yeah, I did. You didn't get a chance to talk to Dr. Zahn about those issues I was having, did you?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'll let you know when I hear back.
No, everything's good. Had a good practice today.
Good. But after breaking, nothing was too sore or anything?
No, it was all good.
Excellent.
Looking forward to Wednesday or Thursday when I attempt it again.
Good. Ideally, when you're breaking tiles, it's good to wear shoes.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So
Check, Chief.
that would be good. Also, just like when we're on any level, when we're breaking tiles, you want to set a design clearly in your mind that everything's perfect. So no cuts, nothing. So yeah, so no cuts on the arms, no cuts, on your feet, nothing on the head, everything's perfect. Clear design. Anybody else? Any comments, questions? Kelly, go ahead.
I have a question actually. Is the post similar to our practice in that we shouldn't do it when there's like a lightning storm?
Lightning storm, I'm more concerned with deep meditation. Some lightning, some thunder, I'm fine with, indoors and stuff. I just like the deep meditation, best not to.
Okay.
Yeah, but if it's like thundering and lightning like nonstop, then I would probably just like pause and just wait for it to die down or something. But I think getting on the post should be fine. Yeah.
Stephen, why in deep meditation? Is that because of the startling effect?
The startling for sure.
And what can be, besides the obvious, what's the issue there?
I mean, it's never good to get startled and disperse the chi and stuff. And especially if you're really kind of in a deep place, like that startle makes the energy want to move. And who knows where it ends up, so it's just best to avoid that opportunity.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what are some things we can do when that happens? I know I've never meditated before and then something will crash upstairs or noise will happen.
If it's mild, then just kind of just reset, and just kind of just make sure everything's kind of like calmed down and just get energy circulating and flowing kind of evenly again. But that one will be interesting. I should ask Dr. Zhang a little bit more about that, like if stuff like that happens, what you can do to balance. But definitely don't try to connect to that nature energy during a big storm. I know of a person who did that, who was following a different type of Qigong, and even to this day, he's still not 100% normal. So it's a real thing. It can cause big problems. So he used to do our qigong years ago, and then when we had our restaurant with Dr. Jung, he was following a different master and doing a different system, and he came to a party at the restaurant, and our old school was right next to the restaurant. So while we were having the party, he went to the old area where we used to train outside, and it was during a lightning storm, and he was doing his new practice, connecting to the universe and connecting to nature and connecting to, the thunderstorm, and he fried himself. Like, he said he was on the ground flopping around like a fish and stuff, and he was not normal for a long, long time. Yeah. Dr. Wu, who was one of the owners of the acupuncture school at the time, I went to, he had to do some emergency qigong acupuncture to help make him normal. But yeah, it was not a good experience for that guy. So there really is, some caution, with what you're doing. So try not to do something that you're not told.
Did he connect with the lightning
He said he was trying to.
specifically?
He said he was
Specifically.
trying to. Yeah.
Oh la la. Yeah.
Because
that's-
it's lightning, it's part of nature, it's part of the universe. So the idea was, everything in the universe can just connect with openly, and he actually was able to, and that's why it fried his system. Some people who don't have a very strong mind, he won't do anything. But because he has done some training and he had some cultivation, some foundation, that his body could, but it still shorted him out. Yeah. So, yeah, not a pleasant story to talk about, but still a good caution.
Yeah. These are the lessons, right? Hard lessons.
Yeah. And I knew the person before and I knew the person after, and I run into the guy every once in a while. So it's like I've had contact with him, before, after, during, so I can see the comparison of like what had happened and transpired. So.
Yes.
Anybody have any trouble training this week? Were people more motivated this past week to get some training in? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Kind of
Okay.
slow a couple times, yes, but slow.
Okay. Ideally, I'm in contact with the person whose space we're going to be using when we open back up, and she's opening up this week as a trial run, and then the idea is to open up beginning of June, not January. Geez, that'd be too long. So I'll keep you guys in the loop about how that unfolds. I don't want to give you false hope, but it sounds like June 1st could be the first day we have practice in person. So. For those of you who are not ready to meet in person, shoot me a message, and then we'll find a way to work with you continuously. I need to find out if she has Wi-Fi there, and if I'll still keep streaming for the first part of this, like the lecture meditation, and then when people break and do their practices, when I disconnect. But I don't know what the Wi-Fi quality will be there, and what her guidelines will be for us entering her space, because she's using it for other stuff too. So she might have a lot stricter guidelines than I would personally have, but she's allowing us to use her space, so I kind of want to be respectful of that too. So, Rosemary, you had a question or comment?
Does that include wearing masks for those that meet in person?
According to her guidelines right now, that's the case. And I'm really kind of bummed about that, but it's her space for now, so we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we wear Halloween masks?
I'm fine with that.
Dress as our favorite Ninja Turtles.
I want Leonardo. Okay. What else? Any specific Qigong practice questions or anything?
I got a question.
Yeah.
So when we're doing our practice and we're going in the fridge and doing our breaths, right? And if we get distracted on something else, does that like disrupt like the chi going through our bodies, or? what can that do, you know?
Well, basically, wherever your mind goes, your energy goes. So when you get distracted, your energy goes to what caught your attention. So, but it doesn't necessarily disrupt your practice in regards to just reset and then just do a couple more reps to make up for that distraction. So it's okay to get distracted. It takes time to like really tune all that stuff out. So if you get distracted, just like reset and then just pick up where you left off.
Okay.
Stephen, when people say, because I've heard that said, so the energy goes there.
Right.
And so can you say a bit more in detail about that? Is it being absorbed into it, or it's just that we are putting energy into that thing with our attention?
It's tricky. I don't really know how to articulate it. I experience it constantly, but wherever your attention and you focus and your chi just kind of naturally is there instantaneously. It's not like it's like dragged behind, like the intention's there first. It's like almost instant. So like when you put your attention on your big toe, your energy tends to go there. It's not much different than kind of guiding it there. But when you're, thinking out, you look at the person next to you in the car who's driving, and they can sense it. Like, how can they sense that? A lot of it's their energy, or you can feel their energy. But it's a hard kind of concept to articulate, other than it's just a phenomenon that happens.
So we call, in this case, you call the energy back to continue. Yeah, you kind of call it back and then do a few more reps, you're saying.
Right, because ideally when we're doing our practice and our meditation, we want to be inwards and focused on the experience with 100% focus, but sometimes our mind wanders. That's not a big deal. Just reset and recalibrate and just kind of pick up where you left off. And over time, it takes a lot more to distract you. You just tend to be so grounded in what you're doing that, it's like having the horse with the blinders on. Like, it doesn't get distracted as easily.
Yeah, so even in autopilot, this is a good thing to do.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes autopilot is also, our mind is wandering and we're kind of switch tasking or multitasking. So, you can go through the motions now because you've done it so often and still be thinking about, what's for dinner, or what do I need to do next? So your meditation isn't going to be as effective if you're totally focused on the task at hand.
Absolutely.
And when we're doing that, the task at hand is to gather more energy to put inside the container to support the practice. So some people might notice on certain levels, like hands or head, or if they're very focused with their meditation, that it supports their practice at a much higher level, to where it's like they have a very strong, powerful practice. And strong, powerful practice in this context just means like, no matter what was coming at you, you just felt like it was nothing. It just meant that the chi was there to support the practice at such a high level, to where it's like, oh, it was like no big deal. So that's a neat experience to have when you're kind of in the zone and everything's integrated.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other comments, questions? Ed, no questions tonight? No question?
I'm bringing my energy inwards.
Good. Yeah.
That's my practice. I'm practicing when I'm not practicing.
It pays off really big dividends.
Yeah. The question about energy, I'm finding that particularly relevant of late, because I'm trying to be more conscious about where I put my energy.
Right.
Because I think my default is to how would I say it? Put more energy out than I need to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, for me, it's more about practicing to, just be more aware of that, or bring it in,
Right.
or use the energy that's appropriate.
That's a really useful piece, is finding the right amount of energy for the task at hand.
Yeah. So I guess because I've had it over years, I've developed a habit, and so to adjust that can become well, it's a practice in itself, just to be mindful of how I'm expending energy, and how that affects other people's energy, just inadvertently, because it was unconscious patterns.
Yeah.
So I think even if it's not the physical practice, definitely the conscious practice is happening.
Right.
So,
yeah. I mean, if you even just kind of equate energy to your finances and a monthly budget, it's just like, it's interesting to like budget your energy and find out like ways you can just be more efficient with it. Turning the lights off when you're leaving a room, if you're brushing your teeth, you don't need to be brushing your teeth like crazy intense, and it's like, adjust the energy to the task at hand.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it and don't underdo it. But it's kind of like how when we're doing the 2-person practice.
Yeah.
You have to adjust to what's coming at you.
Yeah, and that includes, in my case, and probably relevant to many people at this stage, at this time, is the work situation. It's like, I'm used to working quite intensely.
Right.
It's been a couple of years now, almost, since I've worked to that level of intensity, since coming to the States. And it takes a bit of getting used to. It takes a bit of adjustment, and it takes a bit of deliberate practice to unwind again, to unravel all of that. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah. Wonderful. Good feedback. But I urge all of you guys, when going throughout the day, just evaluate, like, how much energy am I using? Where's my mind at? Am I going out with my mind constantly? Am I going inwards sometimes throughout the day to help recharge and recalibrate? Am I exerting way more energy in this one moment of time that's just not necessary? Finding, situations and arguments that you can just walk away from versus engaging in. Yeah. So lots of useful things you can do with our energy. Okay. Well, let's do a meditation tonight that I'm not doing because Alan's not here, but I'm doing it because I want to do it. So it's unfortunate for him, but I want to do the longevity meditation. It's been a while. So this will be new for a few of you, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's not self-explanatory. We're going to do what we normally do by taking a little bit of energy into the body by taking the 3 morning suns. We'll light up the bones to make the body and the cells strong. And then from there, we're going to focus on where we are in this present moment. And then we're going to go back in time with our mind and jump to different ages. So you'll see yourself at, 20, 21, 18, 16. I usually use kind of, in the United States, kind of memorable years, because for the most part, we kind of remember that time period. But you can use whatever numbers you want on your own. And then we'll go all the way down to newborn. Don't go past conception. And I actually don't go past birth. Go to, you pop out, that's your starting point. Don't go past that. We'll hang out as a newborn, how everything is just perfect, and you're pre-programmed with all this beautiful information to, have a long, healthy, vibrant life, to where we can live to 150 or longer. Then we'll go from that newborn carrying that blueprint of having perfect health and all the original information to unfold naturally. And then we'll go all the way back up to our present age, and then move forward into the future. And as we move into the future, as we get older, don't see yourself aging at the rate that most people age. See yourself aging, at a lesser rate or a slower rate. So when you're 80, you have the vitality of a healthy 40-year-old. When you're 100, you have the vitality of a 50-year-old that's been doing this kind of qigong. When you're 150, you have the vitality of a 75-year-old. Your eyes, your vision still works, your hearing still works. You can move, you have mobility, you have vitality. So you're not just like in a wheelchair and eating through test tubes. You have a high quality of life. As we go all the way from to 150, then we want to take that experience that we had climbing up, and we want to review it coming back down as if we had already done it. And then we want to stop on our present age. So since there's a lot of discrepancy between different ages, if I start at a number that's higher than you, just wait till we get to your age. If you're older than where I started, then just kind of jump down at your own pace till you sync up with where we are. Okay, get comfortable. I'm gonna go ahead and mute everybody. Okay. So just go on and get comfortable. You want to sit upright. If you're sitting in a chair, scoot towards the front of the chair so your back isn't resting against the chair. You can place your hands on your thighs, palms down, or covering lower dantian. You can roll the tip of your tongue to where it touches the roof of your mouth. And just bring your mind inside the body. Just turn those flashlights inwards. Bring your intention and your awareness back into the moment. You can forget about the past, forget about the future. Just enjoy being in the moment. Take this time to nourish your energy. And we can shift and align the posture just a little bit so the spine is nice and long. Shoulders are relaxed. There's a string attached to the top of your head and it's lifting up towards the ceiling. And just with your next breath, follow it all the way down into lower dantian. So you can see a crystal ball slowly rotating just behind and below your navel. About the size of an orange. And now that dantian is bright and active, let's add a little bit more energy into lower dantian by taking in 3 morning suns. So just visualize a bright white morning sun, about 10 a.m. in the sky. Connect to it, use your mind and pull the sun to you. You can feel the warmth right above your head. You can feel the warmth all over your body. Inhale, the sun melt into a liquid light and pour straight down into the lower dantian. And we create a second morning sun. Pull the sun to you. See it, feel it. Inhale, let it melt and pour straight down the central channel all the way into lower dantian. One last time, a third morning sun, just like before. Create it, see it, feel it, draw it to you. And then breathe it straight down all the way into lower dantian, mixing with the first two suns. So we can close the black waypoint at the top of the head. And now with lower dantian very bright, very full, let's squeeze and put a tiny bit of pressure, making it a little bit denser, a little bit brighter. And then allow this light to shine straight up into your sternum, brightening up your breastbone. And just allowing this light to spread through all the bones. So spreading through your rib cage and collarbones. Wrapping around into your spine, going up and down each vertebra. Through the vertebrae of your neck, spreading through all the different cranial bones in your head. To your forehead and eye sockets and sinuses, upper and lower jaws. And then filling up your teeth. And release the light down to your shoulder joints. Feel it flow down your arms. See the arms getting brighter, down to your elbows and forearms, flowing all the way into your hands and fingers. And then from your low back, feel it flow down into your sacrum and tailbone, spreading through your pelvis, hip joints, hip sockets, long bones of your thigh, brightening up your knee joints, flowing down your lower legs, all the way down to your heels, feet, and toes. And just real quickly with your mind's eye, scan over the body, making sure all the bones are bright. If you notice any dark areas, just make those spots brighter. And then we can see ourselves sitting in that beautiful pine tree forest The sun is shining through the pine needles onto our skin. We feel very open and connected to nature, balanced and supported. And then we see ourselves at our present age. So if you're younger than the number I start with, just wait till we get to your number and then join us. If you're older, kind of go at your own pace and find a way to sync up with us. And then just see yourself at 25 years old. See what you're doing at that age. Happy and healthy, full of energy. And then at 21, '18, 15. Just see yourself at that age. See yourself doing whatever you're doing at that age. 10. 5. See yourself as a 5-year-old. Learning new things, curious about everything. Laughing, playing. 3 years old. 2. 1. See yourself as a 1-year-old. Smiling, laughing, crying, surrounded by love. Newborn. See yourself as a newborn, held in your parents' arms. No matter what the circumstance, just see everything as perfect. So full of love, compassion, containing all the original information needed to live a long, happy, healthy, vibrant life of 150 or more. So as we move up through the ages, carry that connection to all that original information to keep you healthy. You already have it embedded in you. Just like an acorn will always grow into an oak tree. So see yourself at 1 year old again. 2. 3. 6. 9. See yourself at 9 years old. Second or third grade, fourth grade, not sure. Surrounded by friends, learning, laughing, playing. '20. '30. 40. 50. At 50, you have the vitality of a healthy 25-year-old. Strong bones, strong muscles, mobility. 60. Blueprint and design what you want your future to be like. What quality of health and vitality do you want to have? 70. 80. 90. The mind is extremely sharp. You have tremendous amounts of energy. 100. At 100, you have the health and vitality of a 50-year-old who's been doing Qigong. You're still learning new things, meeting new people, surrounded by friends and family, connected to nature. 110. 120. Still feel as if you're being lifted by that string from the top of the head. So the structure is perfectly aligned. 120. Healthy, happy, full of energy. Still completely independent. 140. 150. See yourself at 150 with all your functions still intact, good vision, good hearing, strong teeth, strong muscles and bones. Sharp, clear mind, tremendous amounts of wisdom from all the years of living. And then we want to drop back down. So like 145, 145 years of age. 135. As we go backwards, we're reviewing the things that we blueprinted as if they already happened. 125. 110. 100. 90. 80. 70. 60. 50. 40. And just go work your way back to your present age. And just see yourself this present moment, at your present age. Happy and healthy, full of vitality. And just collect your mind in lower dantian for a moment. If you like, you can take in a few inhales, drawing your energy from around the outside of the body, guiding it to lower dantian. And whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Relax the mind and come on up. Okay. Everyone's still muted, and I don't know how to unmute you. The button's not there. So you might have to unmute yourself on your end.
Yeah.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Okay, you're good.
Okay. Comments, questions, experiences?
I experienced the lower dantian a little bit differently this time, in that normally I think of it as a solid crystal ball.
Mhm.
And this time it occurred to me that it was like the walls pressing out, creating a space. So the crystal ball was more formed from the pressure of lower dantian outwards, like with nothing in it, if that makes sense, rather than a solid thing being in the middle.
Uh-huh.
It was just something I haven't observed before.
Kind of like blowing up a balloon.
Yeah, kind of. But it just felt like was like hollow pushing out, and that was the wall of the crystal wall.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
As opposed to being solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Just keep experiencing and noticing what you experience.
Yeah. Just something different.
Yeah. Cool.
For me.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
When we're going back in time into like earlier childhood, are we trying to connect to like super happy moments or like more joy, or is it sort of whatever comes up, or?
It's whatever comes up.
Mhm.
So if there is some trauma, then we can, you can look at it. A lot of times trauma can be different when you are removed from it from time or experience. So when, you look back at something that was traumatic, as years go by, it can look different and you can experience it different because you're looking at it from different angles. But if it is too traumatic to look at or touch, when we mention that number, then you go to the closest number that you can land on that's close to it. Like if something bad happened at 16, just like I say 16, you're like, nope, I can't go there. Then go to 18 or 17 or 14, jump around it. And as you do the meditation more and more, little by little, like you can get closer to it and you can like detox it a little bit, get the energy around that trauma to move to where at some point you can actually land on that memory and look at it and like, oh, okay, that's what that was. And then kind of less charge to it. Yeah.
Cool.
So we don't want to go like, oh, nothing bad ever happened, because that's just not reality. Stuff does happen. But how you perceive it and how you react to it and interpret what happened is the only thing you really have control over. So, and usually with time we can see it and, label it and experience it differently. But a lot of times when there's something there, it just blocks the energy from flowing. So kind of like when you have a bruised spot on a certain level, training next to it can make the bruise go away faster because we're increasing the chi circulation around it, and it can help detox and stuff like that. So we don't have to land directly on it, and we don't have to play like, oh, we're only going to look at happy things. Because a lot of things that happen to us shaped who we are, in Landmark, they call it strong suits. Something happened and, allowed you to be a certain way that allowed you to be successful moving forward from that experience to an extent. So, but at the same time, if you have strong, powerful memories, it's useful to access them. Really happy moments, look back and, anchor them in. Because some people they can be really hard on themselves and they look back at their life and they don't have any milestones, or, they're really super hard on themselves. It's like, yeah, I haven't ever accomplished anything. But because they're super hard on themselves, there's the slate's blank. But if you really become less critical and you look back, well, I'm alive. I graduated high school. I got my driver's license. I had these experiences. It's like, okay, that's cool. So for some people, they can be too hard on themselves and they look back and like, oh, I haven't done anything. So we can borrow from the past experiences, and then we can also blueprint what we want our future to be like.
Cool. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Has anybody had any experience with who's been doing this for a while in regards to traumas and how they just changed over time, or habits, or I know the one example I give all the time is my friend Mark. When he learned this meditation, he was drinking over 20 something Diet Cokes a day. And once Dr. Zhang gave us this meditation, he was doing it religiously for a while. And one day he went to work, took a sip of his Diet Coke, threw up, and just never touched them again. Because if he wanted to live to 150, drinking 20 something Diet Cokes a day didn't fit that model. So his intelligence says, well, if you want to go there, then you have to stop doing this and that. So when we have an objective, a goal that's worth following, the body's going to shift to make it happen.
One thing I noticed that was different this time was after going back to being an infant,
and really like seeing that the seed of infancy and the sort of pure possibility of what that is, was carrying that forward then with every age, and sort of feeling every age being pure possibility rather than in the past it has sort of come along with, oh, this other stuff is still there. But this time it felt more like the pure possibility was reprogramming every age along the way and then into the future too.
Yeah. So little by little, like when we go back into the different ages, it's kind of cleaning a little bit along the way. As we come back up, we're cleaning it a little bit too. So, and that makes us different in the now. And then when we go project forward, you know, it's just interesting how much, you know, like in the movies where they have like the butterfly effect or something, one little thing changes and everything changes dramatically. That can happen just from a shift in how we view something that happened to us at one point. We can just change that story and then everything else changes. It's phenomenal.
I am noticing that the more I do it, I'm having a lot easier time with the envisioning myself in the future at ages feeling younger and having, you know, goals and things to set up for that time. And it's just getting easier to see it and sort of believe it inside.
Yeah, and part of it is, you know, from doing the practice in general is having more energy. A lot of times people can't go that far because they don't have the energy to support that. So, you know, I talked about it before where some of Dr. John's patients who were terminal, he would always ask them questions about like, can you see any goals or project, you know, what's going on next week or 1 month out? And a lot of them who are really terminal, they couldn't plan more than a week out. Like they just couldn't see it in their mind because they didn't have the energy to go that far. So it's pretty interesting. That's cool stuff.
I was going to say that too. This is the first time I've really been able to see myself over 100, like all the way up to 120, 150.
Yeah. I mean, and some people, you know, for whatever reason, they learned at some age that, oh, I don't want to live a long time. You know, rock star mentality. I want to, you know, play hard, have fun, and crash out early. You know, it's like, but then at 40, you have a family. You're like, well, I don't want that blueprint anymore. Well, the cool thing is we can change it. It's better to change it sooner rather than later. But to go ahead and build the foundation now while you can, when you have the energy to build it for 150. If you don't want to live to 150, that's fine. But lay the foundation for that to be a possibility versus at 60, you're like, oh, I want to live much longer. You know, it's easier to lay the foundation now than it is to change it later.
I've created the expectation in our 3 daughters that I'll be there for their 100th birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we see it scientifically in the medical world all the time where someone's on their deathbed, the doctors give them like days to live, but then they have family members halfway around the world that they stay alive for it until they make it to come visit. Once they come visit and say their goodbyes, and they're gone. Or the negative side of that, when doctors like, you have terminal cancer and you have 6 weeks to live, a big portion of those people expire when the doctors give them the bad news. You know, it's usually the people who aren't normal, who don't listen to doctors, who are the ones who beat those statistics and like, oh, forget you. You know, I'm going to go my own route. And they outlive it by, you know, 30, 40 years. So, yeah. And also try to look for models to emulate and to follow. You know, in this day and age of technology that we see lots of information that we never get to see before. But one of my favorite examples was this guy in London named Buster Martin. And he ran the London Marathon like 102. He's been drinking and smoking since he was like, you know, 5 or 6, 7, really young. He retired at 90. He was in the paper because he got mugged, but he ended up beating up the guys. And when he ran the London Marathon, he didn't drink any water, and he drank like 5 or 6 pints of beer and smoked 6 or 7 cigarettes, or fags as he called them. And then they asked him, how can you do what you do? He's like, oh, I'm not normal like the rest of you people. So it's such a great little interview. But when you see people who can do stuff like that, like, well, if they can do it, yeah, I don't see why I couldn't. And especially adding on top of the technology that we've been learning should give us a lot better help with that. So,
So now the whole class is going to take up smoking.
say that again?
Now the whole class is going to take up smoking.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah.
Beer and a fag.
I had a like a, I don't know if it was a realization or just some contemplation around like what you just said, Stephen, similar examples and things I'm seeing and hearing around the place. I'm just more and more of the belief that, you know, we are what we believe. The world is what we believe. It's, you know, the rest I'm not sure about. I just think that we've got such fixed beliefs about things that is what we create.
Yeah.
And you know, and there's some shows like, you know, What the Bleep, if you've ever heard of that. You know, not that that's the Bible or anything like that, but it's like it just opens your mind to the fact that, you know, there are as Jay mentioned, there's infinite possibilities open around things if you're willing to see them from a different perspective and, you know, believe that can happen. But the trick is actually believing it. That's what I seem to be struggling with, the actual belief.
Yeah.
Actually believe that, to get to that place where you can believe it.
In certain levels, like on hand and legs and heads, you know, that's the one reason we like play with the tiles. Is it's a tool to help us learn and grow. Like we do the visualization where you chop through the brick hundreds and thousands of times, but then when you put a tile there, it's like, do I really believe I can do it or not? And it's an interesting test for people to kind of work through, where, you know, those beliefs can come to play, and you get to like, well, really test those beliefs. How much do I truly believe I can do that? And little by little, it reinforces it one way or another. It's pretty fun to see.
I was amazed when I found out that in the Christian Bible, I can't remember exactly. I think it's like Genesis 6 verse 20 or something like that. Something like that. They actually say that humans will no longer live beyond the age of 120 or something like that. And I just wonder if someone rewrote that verse, whether the age would change. I don't know. But
yeah, possibly. Yeah. I'm not much of a scholar for that stuff, but that would be interesting to ask other people.
Look, I'm not either, but someone referred that once, and I looked it up many, many years ago, and I was just astounded by the fact that there was this age limit put there.
Yeah. I mean, one thing Dr. Jung has said in the past, you know, is like, you know, a lot of trees have a life expectancy if under normal circumstances. A lot of plants have a normal lifespan. Certain breeds of dogs have a certain lifespan. Humans don't live anywhere close to their expected lifespan. We see this gigantic discrepancy of people who easily live to over 100, and you see people who die at, you know, 40. You know, the one doctor I reference all the time is the runner from the 80s, Dr. Jim Fix. He's a cardiologist runner. And he died from a heart attack like in his 40s. So it's just like, you know, 40 to 100, that's a gigantic discrepancy, you know, of variety, like why some people live way long and some people live really short, you know. George Burns, you know, he drank martinis and smoked cigars. Buster Martin, you know, he didn't eat vegetables, he smoked cigarettes and drank tons of beer, and he was still functioning at 100 and something to run a marathon. I wouldn't want to run a marathon right now, so maybe I can blueprint it when I'm his age, I can. But yeah, the beliefs are critical. Yeah. And being surrounded by people who think slightly different than you can help you grow and think in a different way. Very useful. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Any other comments, questions before we wrap up? Okay, for those of you who didn't get much practice in the last week, get some in this week. I'll get the ruler out and I'll crack the whip.
Thanks so much, Stephen.
You're
Awesome.
welcome.
Thank you, Stephen. That was awesome.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you
See
all.
you guys Wednesday.
Thank you.
Stephen.